Welcome back. We've got another trial coming up tomorrow, and we need to do some investigation, it seems. So what better to do than speak to the inspector over here, who seems to have some chips. Maybe there's a fish in there as well, who knows? That could be the fish. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. That fish regenerate itself. Some frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eating out your hand, you know? But Suzuto-san told me if it was foolproof. I'm a busy man, a very busy man. Why does the fish keep coming back? How? There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. How did you do that? Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? That's Gregson, though. No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. No, because of some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. And that ripping sound, that's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryu, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable. How did she pull that off? So, Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. The name's Tobias Gregson, of course. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson. What's the matter with Suzuto-san? Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector Gregson? Inspector... Are you perhaps... the Inspector Gregson? From the stories. You're acting like you know this man, Miss Suzuto, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him very well, in fact. Very well? Yes, he features prominently in The Adventures of Herlock Shlomes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Ranst magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Shlomes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Shlomes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Shlomes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Shlomes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of old Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Shlomes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not. Thanks to that magazine, my name's known all over London town now. It's great, isn't it? I have to admit that, to start with, I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They're whispering rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head, stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. Yep. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. Oh dear, perhaps a sudden rise of fame does change people. The case? So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh, dear. Probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it could be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital, unconscious. That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Suzuto's takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryo. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So, there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question. Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. The prosecutor that's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Barak van Zykes. Yeah, there we go. No. Sounds like you've heard of him then. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord van Zykes. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barak van Zykes, who we faced in court only yesterday. Yes, and that might be why he's called Reaper of the Bailey, if he's killing off people. Mr. McGill told us about him before the trial, didn't he? When Van Zykes stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned, one way or another. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty? Is that it? No. Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector. And in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zykes, Mr. Naruhodo secured a victory of not guilty. What of it? Oh, well, I think... that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah. Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus, and it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zykes could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic. So do you, apparently, with that fish. Have a good long think about that, if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Right, well, I've filled you in as requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. Not fish, though. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place? That's correct, Mom. And if you head over there to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already? He's as good as, shaking like a leaf in his cell he is. I'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's inmate 53, not 32. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. Inmate 53. Thank you. So, there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he'd be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes. Let's go. Alright, we'll move them to the prison first. 19th of February. Local prison, cell 9. So, these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. It was just like a dungeon. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. Apparently, our client is in this cell here. It's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. What he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding in the back of your cell and show your face at once. Am I? Am I a cat? As yet with no name? Calling me by a number, it's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think is going on here? I have no idea, but I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. Oh. Interesting. Excuse me, but who? Shh, quiet. Okay. They're all around, hiding. I know they are. They're watching, listening, even now. I can sense it. Can you? Oh, alright. Good for you. Right. So could I ask you, who's that? There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? Yep. You mean you no harm, prisoner-san? Are you Japanese, by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams. Alright, calm down, mate. There's a lot of teeth you just shown. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's, fine. We're just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it. I have been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix in a foreign land. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. Okay. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us turned out to be a fellow Japanese? What compassion my fellow countrymen show. To dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Well... noble, nurturing, never feigning Nippon. Okay. A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, can you be so kind as to tell us what happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can, I will. Sean, stay sullen and silent. Okay. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryu. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susato Mikutaba. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notably notoriously named Natsumi. Soseki? Natsumi? Okay, well, let's present him like with the usual stuff. Like this, for instance. Yes, yes, the symbol of our great empire's first-rate lawyers. Which means, of course, you'll stand by my side, you'll defend me. Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't why I was showing it to you. And why else would you show me that? Oops, in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Yeah, maybe. Soseki Natsumi-san? What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No, no, no! Don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku? That really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this is beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't it mean you can do it? No! What do you mean? They told me to study English literature. That I couldn't have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. I'm with you there, mate. English is crazy. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. Wise words, a white washi? You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I am often told. Often like to be told, it seems. The accusation against you? Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder. Murder? Oh, no. It's alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? Well, no. I didn't see anyone. What? If I had seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Not that complicated, compared to previous ones we've done in this series. Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. Okay. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker? It's vital that we find out more about the case. Well, yes. About the case. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog, quite dense. I had been to the bookshop to buy some books. Well, yeah, that's where you'd find them. And I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along the accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her... we got books. Knife in the back. Hat. Bag. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hot slabs of stone at my feet. Oh, alright, calm down. How terrible. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know of any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that? I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. I see. A young woman unknown to Soseki-san. At the time it happened. Who else did you see nearby? Did anyone pass you by? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Great. So the victim was unknown to you and there was no one else in the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? Quite. What conundrum? If he's innocent or not, you know. Conundrum! What do you mean, Suzuto-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says that he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. And he apparently fled without having been seen. I did. Yeah, then who reported him? But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. You... Did you just say? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops, perhaps I thought that a little loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh yes, she's right. What did you do? It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. Here we go. Of all the bad luck. Cursed great detective. Could it be? I shall never forget that man's name as long as I live. With his haughty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed, busybody begone. May be cursed until the end of your days, Sherlock Holmes. I knew it. Mr. Shlomes? Sherlock Shlomes. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after the nightmare unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a silver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police, put the weapon down. Yes, it was a thin silver. And yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting, dietary discrimination devils. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Sherlock Shlomes. It's actually Sherlock Shlomes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak-stooped kitten of a man. What a great deduction process led him to his conclusion this time. Yeah, I'd kind of like to see how he figured this one out. Did you mean to say that Mr. Shlomes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me. In impossible English. English, foreign, flammery. Okay. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but didn't know what to say. So I just kept repeating things like, yes, I do, and I'm fine. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles. And before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's oddly surprising. I'm fine. It's not fine now. Probably just be like, do you admit to the murder? I do. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Esquire? Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. When we're speaking English, a simple mister is more than enough. Oh, yes, alright, yes. They've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? I've defended a case in the Old Bailey, only the one, though. At this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. No, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers, or the British defense lawyers. They won't defend me. Goodness. Why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Soseki-san. Soseki? I still don't know. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. Just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said, and of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, the man doesn't understand half of what is being said anyway. It's awful. They're wrong. I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there on the streets. I've travelled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So, at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Soseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Oh, I was going to do a bit of examination at this point, but then we cannot. Let's see if he actually changes up anything here with this now. Yes, the symbol of our... yeah. Which means, of course, you'll stand by my side, you'll defend me. Oh, no, sorry, that one. No. Why else would you show me that? Oops, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best idea. Alright then, well, let's head off to Briar Road.